Hello, hello. Let's get going. Hello, I am Mayor Watt. That is ohmTown.com, and this is the ohmTown Daily News Show. You might see me looking over at I don't know, maybe at that screen right there, that little image of the browser there. And that's because that's what powers ohmTown Daily News Show. ohmTown.com is a news aggregator. I've been working on it and for my own personal use and professional use for quite some time. I opened it up at the beginning of this year and started streaming based on the news that it aggregates. I need a whole lot of uh, processes to aggregate things into categories because I was suffering from information overload. There was just too much going on, and I like certain things, and I like to categorize things. It makes it easier on me. I go through this news every 24 hours, grab about 10 to 11, maybe 12 headlines, really depends. I used to grab a whole lot more, but my show would turn into 2, 3 hours. At any rate, I've already selected a bunch of stuff. There is some big news that everybody seems to know about. I don't really trend in that direction. I grab some interesting headlines that I think are interesting and not necessarily well known. I even have a show that I'm going to launch eventually, um, where I draw attention to other streamers. I'm not well known. My first follower goal hasn't even hit 100 in 9 months. I don't know if that's saying a lot about the quality of the show or just that I'm really not advertising myself anywhere. But um, at any rate, I do this every day at 6 p.m. I may change it in the future, and I am going to be streaming more of the shows. That reference to shows is built off of this. My aggregator throws it into 6 main categories: create, news, education, entertainment, social, and technology, and then into 50 shows, all of which I plan to bring to Twitch eventually. Well, I'll die trying. Anyway, I've selected the articles. One of the biggest things right out of the gate is that nVidia, at least in my sector of news, nVidia has announced its RTX 40 series. We'll get into that right now. So the first article that I selected for today is nVidia announces next gen RTX 4090 and 4080, but not all of the rest of them. They're going to come later. Why? Because they want people to see that and go, oh my God, I need that now. Well, I think that they are priced way too high, but that's my perspective. Maybe I want more competition to drive home pricing down instead of driving them up because of scarcity. The reason why GPUs are so expensive right now, I think, is because people have been scooping up GPUs for crypto and other purposes instead of for gaming and general consumer consumption. So the RTX 90, not even the Ti. Some people say Ti, but I have heard that NVIDIA's pronunciation of it is Ti, not Ti. I guess I'll have to find more examples of it and stream that, talk about that. Not that it's really important, but I was discussing it today, as a matter of fact, that it was Ti. Anyway, side discussion there. The RTX 4090 arrives on October 12th, and it's $1,600. It's the price of a computer, like a full-on tower with a 20 series. Or actually, no, that's not true. You can get a 30 series RTX card in a full-on computer with an i7 for $1,600. You can do that right now over at iBuyPower. Right? I mean, I think I saw it today. Let me look real quick. iBuyPower. And they build it for you and ship it to you. I mean, it's wonky. So $1,400, $1,500. Okay, so I'm $100 off, and I could probably bump it up Oh, I hit the wrong button. Doggone it. You know, it's it's going to take me too long. Anyway, I'm sure that I can find a 1600, there it is, a $1,600 full computer with an RTX 3070, $1,599. So a full-on computer with a 30 series for just the price of the RTX 4090. Sure, it's a card that is 2 levels lower in its designation and probably dramatically inferior to the 4090. But the entire price of a computer encapsulated in one non-TI or TI card. It's ridiculous pricing. But here, this is an example of the fact that what they saw during the pandemic and what they've seen from the market, that people are willing to pay this exorbitant pricing for a card, is tied directly to how they didn't highlight any resellers or value added service providers. They didn't say Asus is using nVidia, et cetera, et cetera. They hyped nothing more than their pricing for the nVidia card. And I think it is a nudge in a direction that they are going to nix resellers and just go straight to consumer. Basically, the Tesla of video cards. The price is high as MSRP. The demand is going to make it higher because people are going to be buying it for $1,600. Even though I think that it's outrageously priced, but that's just me. Let me throw this link in chat. I'm curious what other people are thinking about this. Just wrapping your head around this. The 20 series cards were released at the highest end. The nVidia Titan RTX was $24.99 back in 2018. But that was like a specialist card. Like twice the price of, more than twice the price of the next card down, which was the 2080 Ti. And that was only $1,000, $1,200 on its higher end. That's the 2080, not even a 2090, right? That's what the Titan RTX would have been. But the 2080 was less than $1,000. Well, the 4080 is going to be $1,299. It starts at $899. That's the RTX 4080, available in November. There's stats floating around, but nobody really knows what its true performance is until they actually get it in their labs. Nobody is chomping at the bit to say, oh, this is a great deal or whatever else. But the RTX 4080 starts at $1,299 for the 16 gig. And there's a 12 gig version that is $900, $899. I think that it's all crazy because the previous generation 2080s, right, were $699, and the 30 series 3080s, depending on which one you end up with. So let's do the 3080 RTX, just a standard release, that was $699. So it's more than doubled its price. Or it has doubled its price. And it's only 2 years old. And these cards, the 30 series cards, were released during the pandemic when there was supply chain issues, when there were people buying them up in droves to throw in Bitcoin mining and other crypto mining operations. This is, to me, it's just greed to me. But let's move on to something else that I think is outlandish. The next article is about, and it's in the word in tech, but it's the Peloton Row says pretty much what you'd expect. Oh, you know what? Let me back up a little bit because I didn't give credit to Tom Warren over at the Verge.com for their article. on the announcement of nVidia announces next-gen RTX 4090 and RTX 4080 GPUs. I have a feeling that other nVidia partners are going to bow out after this generation of card. They're just going to go, all right, we're done, I guess. Or they're going to get scooped up by nVidia and become a vertical. They're just going to basically manufacture for nVidia. Wouldn't know why nVidia would do that, but it is what it is. So this next thing in absurdity, I think, is the Peloton Row. Peloton Row comes with a 23-inch HD touchscreen that you can swivel for floor workouts, and it's $3,200. So I'm going to click this link here, and that's that. There you go. That's the Peloton Row. It's kind of like the Peloton bike, but it's a rowing machine. And for $3,200, that's what you get, a rowing machine. There may be some beep and a whistle and whatever else. I don't really know, but you could buy a tonal and stick a rowing machine bar and get rid of the weight and use the tonal's weight. And then go and do a regular workout with the tonal. That's actually what I'm going to start doing. I pitched it to Tonal, and they summarily ignored my email, but responded with, "Hey, that's great." I'm not even kidding about it. I pitched basically a rowing machine build for the Tonal platform, and their response to me was, "I'm so happy for you." Essentially, they did not read my email. I thought it was interesting, pretty funny. So they say here over at the Verge, Victoria Song is the author of this, that the Row is big. It has a footprint of 8 feet, 8 feet by 2 feet wide, weighs 156 pounds. And apparently it says it's the first thing you see when you walk into their New York City apartment, and it takes up a huge chunk of their living room. It can be stored vertically, but you still need to make sure you can lay it flat with 2 feet of clearance on all sides of the device for safety. Well, that's a little bit overkill. Yeah. So $3,200 and a huge footprint. All right. Well, you're not going to win this battle with me. And they put a drink holder in there for your water. All right. Peloton, I think you're going in the wrong direction, but that's okay. It's just too expensive. Again, in this day and age, there may be money out there, folks, but man, a lot of people just don't have it. The author here says that they haven't had a chance to go ham on all of the different rowing workout types just yet, but the 20-minute hip-hop row class that they did take was neither too easy nor too hard. So I guess it's the baby bear of rowing class. Well, good on them, but I still think that it's too late for Peloton. The next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel, and it's the IPO drought is about to break, with Porsche set to raise $9.4 billion in its public debut. They have some prices here for the Porsche, but anyway, this is in the Markets Insider section of BusinessInsider.com. Matthew Fox is the author. And yeah, Porsche wants to do an IPO. So are you ready for the Porsche IPO? It's going to drag a whole bunch of money into the Volkswagen name. And I'm not sure what they're going to end up doing with it. Probably pivot to electric. I'd say that's where a good spot for the money is. I really wish that all of the manufacturers would change the dynamic for electric cars, but I don't know. Maybe nobody wants to do it. I just don't know why. The public debut of the luxury car maker is being facilitated by its parent company, Volkswagen, which is set to receive nearly $10 billion in proceeds from the IPO after it sells some of its stake. The German auto giant, the world's second largest car company by volume, plans to use the proceeds to fund its ambitious. Oh, look at that. I called it. I don't read these articles until I actually do the show, folks. So I, I nailed that. To fund its ambitious electric vehicle ambitions. I think that ambitious electric vehicle ambitions is pretty much kind of what do they call that? When it can eat itself? Oh, politics. Never mind. The company could also use some of the IPO proceeds to pay a special dividend to its investors in early 2023, according to Reuters. I don't know about that. If it's going to have ambitious electric vehicle ambitions, it's going to probably use all of its money. We'll see. Porsche had initially been targeting a valuation of up to 85 billion, but has since lowered its target valuation range to between 70.1 and 75.1 billion dollars with a B, folks. I don't want to mispronounce that. It's with a B. Well, I want more competition in the electric space. I want better chemistry for batteries, better tech for batteries, bigger batteries, more capable batteries. Just extend the range. Get me out to that 350, 375 mile range, and do fast swap batteries. And you have the market. But a lot of people are saying to me, dude, you gotta ease into it. It's these levels, and then you go next level, and then you go the next level, and then you get your goal. And frankly, if this was weight loss, I just want to lipo this stuff and get right to my desired weight. I don't need all of those fat cells slowly getting bigger and shrinking and getting me fighting the machine that is nature. Just get me science in there. I'd love to do lipo. Anyway, I think they say that I'm too old for it. I don't know. Anyway, the next article is over in the Word in Tech channel. In the future, the Word in Tech will actually be a channel where I grab a bunch of articles over the last 24 hours and I focus on a particular term, talk about that term, how it's all interrelated, and those articles all at the same time. I think it's a neat premise, just haven't gotten around to it. Plus, it's another hour that I can't spend doing this. Or maybe I can after this show. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. Hacker steals, and this is in the long series of hackers stealing crypto now. It is never just, $50 or the hacker got caught and was arrested. You never hear about the hacker getting caught and having to bring all that money back. Why? Because crypto is it's pegged to the US dollar or whatever domestic currency you are in. It's not $160 million. At any rate, hacker steals $160 million from crypto trading firm Wintermute. In the latest eye-watering crypto heist, Wintermute, a market-making firm, has been hacked for $160 million, according to its CEO. Early Tuesday morning, CEO Evgeny, Gavoy, posted on Twitter that the company was experiencing an ongoing hack that had drained the funds from its decentralized finance operations. Buddy. Corin Faith over at The Verge wrote this article, and I'm just shocked, but not shocked. This is my shocked face. Every time I hear about a heist, it's always tens to hundreds of millions of dollars when it's involving a crypto heist. It's weird. On blockchain tracking service Etherscan, a transaction flagged as an exploit showed tens of millions of dollars worth of DAI stablecoin, USD coin, Tether, wrapped Ether, and other currencies transferred from the company to a wallet address labeled as Wintermute Exploiter. Buddy. So the exact exploit method is not known, which is the scariest part of this. Reporting from crypto news site Blockworks suggested that the attack could have been carried out by exploiting a recently uncovered vulnerability in vanity wallet addresses generated by a tool called Profanity. Ethereum addresses consist of 40 hexadecimal characters that are usually random, but tools exist to generate a very large number of possible addresses until one is found that contains a certain desired sequence, like a word or name. And if you guys did not patch this immediately when it's known as an exploit, less than a week before the Wintermute hack, researchers from the decentralized exchange network, 1inch, I guess, published a blog post detailing, is it 1inch? Yeah, it's 1inch.io. Detailing a vulnerability in the address generation method used by the Profanity tool, which meant that private wallet keys could be derived from addresses created using Profanity, which it's all just fascinating to me because I caught the same thing somewhere else a long time ago. I could predict what the username and password would be, and it was patched fast after I brought it to their attention. Anyway, quite fascinating, folks. Quite fascinating. Let's move on to the next article. If you hadn't heard, and I had not heard until I saw this in my aggregator, Baby Yoda is a Tamagotchi now. Aw. It's going to make things hover around the room. The virtual pet toy will let you take care of the Mandalorian's cuter half by feeding it squid chowder and macarons, playing some mini games, and unlocking a bunch of outfits. But watch out, apparently, if you feed the Grogu Tamagotchi too much squid chowder, the squid will jump on him. Considering Grogu's main personality trait is hungry, this seems like a perfect fit, though it does appear that some of dark possibilities could form. Do you think? Over at The Verge, Andrew Webster, they pumped out some articles today. Wow, that's fascinating. I don't normally get that many from them, but apparently the aggregator just really glommed onto The Verge. And so it says the humble Tamagotchi has been making a resurgence over the last few years with new iterations featuring cameras, a smartwatch, branded versions ranging from R2-D2 to BTS. Ooh, BTS? You mean Business, Technology, and Society? Yeah, my version's a little different than theirs. All right. Probably not a Tamagotchi about business, technology, and society. I'll let it go. Bandai Namco says the Grogu toy will be available for pre-order soon on Amazon. Watch out. It'll probably get cloned pretty darn fast by somebody. I don't know who. It's not me, but somebody's going to clone that stuff fast. The next article is, that ass is criminal. No, seriously. This prosecutor tried to get nudie pics from a defendant. I'm just going to click the link because Above the Law writes some spectacular prose in their articles. Really, I mean, they have my style of title writing. I don't really do this for my titles because I'm trying to focus on the topics and not a particular title. But for anyone looking to come to this guy's aid, having a killer rack is not a valid excuse for prosecutorial misconduct. Oh, Chris Williams over at Above the Law, you just kind of nailed this. I love it. Prosecutorial discretion, like jury nullification, is one of those quirks about our court system that only really works with good faith actors. It applies to our political system, our electoral system, basically society. You have to have good faith actors. And when there's a plurality of these bad faith wingnuts, society is going to have to do something about it because tolerance to a point is going to just end up with bad faith actors claiming good faith. Anyway, done well, it can be used to extend grace to a defendant found to be a victim of circumstance. Unfortunately, to err is human, and Ronnie Goldie, one of Kentucky's prosecutors, was caught being all too human. I won't go into all of the detail, but apparently Messages included several instances in which Goldie said that he had done something to help Helton with a criminal case, such as having court dates changed or warrants recalled, then asked her for photos or videos, and at least two in which she sent him nude photos. Really, dude. Oh, and look, it actually says really, dude. That's funny. Regardless of how many softcore videos you've watched in your spare time, who in their right mind would abuse their authority with this clear of a paper trail? Or, I don't know, don't put that caveat in there. Who in their right mind would abuse their authority as a freaking judge? A sociopath, someone who's going to abuse their power in the future. This isn't something that somebody should just, okay, you snapped. No, you're out. You know what? Let me scroll down and see if that's actually what happened. Kentucky prosecutor suspended after inquiry finds that he sought nudes from woman. So suspended, punt. If I were to do that, I'd lose my job in a minute. Man. Anyway, let's go on to the next article. This one is... I'm still chuckling about that last title. This next article is in the Hatch Ideas channel. It's official. Jack Dorsey will be deposed on Tuesday as part of Elon Musk's $44 billion Twitter court battle. Since this is over the last 24 hours, I am kind of stuck here. If he was deposed, it was today or next Tuesday. I don't know. Jack Dorsey will be questioned under oath on Tuesday regarding Elon Musk's battle with Twitter. Musk's legal team subpoenaed the Twitter co-founder as a part of a slew of legal requests in August. Dorsey resigned as Twitter CEO last year and has supported Musk's Twitter purchase. Well, he's gone. I don't think it should matter. The context of it is really when he made that purchase and the documents he signed claiming, well, I don't need to do that. He waived the due diligence phase as far as I know. Grace K is the author. Might be pronounced Key. Sometimes that K-A-Y is pronounced Key. BusinessInsider.com is the source. Dorsey resigned as Twitter CEO last year and has supported Musk's Twitter purchase. You go. Let's see. I'm not sure if there's anything really relevant in here. The billionaire's legal team has accused Twitter of operating a scheme. No. Man, I swear, it just sounds to me like the more money you have, the more sociopathic you become. You're immune to litigation and complaint and anything, and basically can just be a human cat and say screw you. Miscounting the number of spam accounts on the site. Pardon me one second. Dorsey, who co-founded Twitter, stepped down as CEO of the social media site in November, and now the new CEO is, I guess it's Parag Agrawal, longtime friend of Musk. And I'm sure that deposition is going to come across without any issues. It'll just be totally on Twitter's side. Over the past month, both sides of the court battle have submitted over 100 subpoenas. In August, Musk's legal team submitted several legal filings, including subpoenas to 2 former Twitter employees and several companies, including Discord. Are your bots corrupting my $44 billion purchase? Because I really want to know. This one is really interesting, this next article, and that's also in the Hatch Ideas channel, aggregated from CNBC, in what I think is ironic as you can possibly imagine. Beyond Meat COO Doug Ramsey arrested for allegedly biting man's nose after our Arkansas college football game. I guess he wanted to go beyond meat and put his nose where his mouth is. Amelia Lucas apparently wrote this article over at CNBC. Beyond Meat Chief Operating Officer Doug Ramsey was arrested this weekend after allegedly biting a man's nose in an Arkansas parking lot garage parking garage after a college football game. He's 53, arrested for terroristic threatening and third-degree battery. He's a thick dude. You probably don't want to meet him in a dark alley if he's pissed off at you. He has been the operating officer, COO, Chief Operating Officer of Beyond Meat since December. He previously worked at Tyson Foods. Man, guess he really wanted some protein, I guess. I don't know. So apparently he punched him a couple of times and went to bite his nose. Was charged with terroristic threatening and third-degree battery and booked into the Washington County, Arkansas jail on Saturday evening, but it was released on Sunday, according to a Washington County information page. I'll never understand anybody that gets pissed off about a football game. You have zero to do with the players or the game or anything, unless you're putting money down on it, and then you might get pissed off if they tank the game and lose, or you bet against them and they won. I don't know why people get fanatical about sports, but Ramsey has been the operating officer since December. The stock has fallen 73% this year, dragging its market cap down to $1.09 billion. That might do it. Just 3 years ago, the company was valued at $13.4 billion. Maybe they've got the wrong chief operating officer. I don't know if that's the actual reason why it's declined, but hey, the C-suite, right? That's where it's supposed to stop. That's where the buck stops. Let's move on to the next article. I only have about 3 left. Quiet fleecing is why you're getting paid less, and everyone's talking about quiet quitting and the great resignation. I agree with this statement. This probably comes from, it comes from businessinsider.com. I wasn't expecting that. Since the 1970s, U.S. wage growth has stalled, but not for the top 1%. With the top 1% seeing most of the gains, it's resulting in a quiet fleecing of the American worker. According to data analyzed by the Economic Policy Institute, as the Federal Reserve acts to cool inflation, it could ultimately make the problem worse. Yeah, that's because the greedy people will take money away from the people that actually are the engine of their companies. You don't become a billionaire by having everybody equally paid, even if they are the ones that are making your company run. Jacob Zinkula and Madison Hoff are the authors of this over at businessinsider.com. Since the 1970s, U.S. wage growth has stalled, with the top 1% seeing most of the gains. It's resulted in quiet fleecing. So, are you being quietly fleeced? Yeah, pretty much count on it. If you haven't seen a 10% cost of living increase, then you're not going beyond what the inflation rate is, which means you are losing money every day. Coined by the Economic Policy Institute, quiet fleecing describes decades of stagnant wage growth in the U.S. despite rising productivity and cost of living. In theory, workers' wages rise in tandem with their productivity or the output they provide to a company, and for workers to benefit from those raises, they should outpace inflation. Up until the 1970s, that was roughly the case, but in the U.S., something changed. The wages of the 1% began to outpace economic growth and inflation, while the pay of the average worker fell behind, largely because people need food, and without unions, you can be fleeced by the people that are the providers. And apparently you have to, kiss their butt and say thank you for the meek givings that they provide us. Well, thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate you, trickling down on me, so to speak. 1970s, by the way, is also all of this other stuff that happened in Reaganomics and whatnot coming into vogue, not necessarily the 70s, but this series of events where oil became publicly traded and people started, crawling on their bellies across broken glass just to look up in amazement at a CEO. Despite producing more than ever, American workers are sharing in less and less wealth created by that U.S. economy as the pockets of corporations and billionaires get fatter than ever. There's a lot more over at this BusinessInsider.com article. Maybe it's time more people pay attention to this stuff and stop getting abused by their employers. Time to say no. Time to sit there and in unison say that there needs to be greater fiscal equity and equality. Workers make the business work. A CEO by themselves, well, they're not going to go very far. So time to bite the bullet, folks. You're going to have to stand up for yourselves and tell people to take a hike. Will it be painful? Absolutely. Is it easy for me to say this on a stream? Yeah, it is. Will I be following my own advice? Yeah, I do. So we'll see what the future holds, but I hope to see you here on Twitch. I have 2 more articles and then I'll let you all go. If you're listening to this as as a podcast, I hope to see you here tomorrow at 6 o'clock. I'll be here with about 10, 11, 12 articles. Electronic Arts unveils a new single-player Iron Man game. An all-new game based on the Marvel superhero Iron Man is in development at EA Motive. Electronic Arts announced today, headed up by Marvel's Avengers and Guardian of the Galaxy producer Oliver how do you pronounce that last name? I can't remember. Cruel? I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm really sorry. Olivier, right? It's Olivier. Anyway, EA Motive's Iron Man project will be a third-person single-player. I'll correct my pronunciation of their name after the stream. Single-player action-adventure game telling an original story that taps into the rich history of Iron Man, channeling the complexity, charisma, and creative genius of Tony Stark. EA said that, and it's being developed in collaboration with Marvel and is currently in pre-production, which means who knows when it'll hit the market. This is over at PC Gamer. Andy Chalk is the author, and it says the new game being developed in partnership with Marvel is now in pre-production. So vaporware until it actually hits a shelf somewhere, digital or otherwise. There's they link to like a EA job offer thing. They talk about the cinematic Marvel universe in the article, and they say that's not to say EA's SpiderMan game can't succeed. Marvel's Spider-Man is proof that at least Spider-Man is an interesting character. Iron Man, well, he's really more of a good Black Sabbath song. I don't know. Iron Man seems like a fun character to play, nearly invincible, and fundamental to the CMU, or MCU. Sorry, not CMU, MCU. So why wouldn't you want to fly around as Iron Man in a single player game? I don't know. Anyway, the last article for today is American Airlines confirms data breach. A template notification to affected customers dated September 16th and sent to a Montana state official indicated the company learned that in July 2022, an unauthorized actor compromised a limited number of employees' email accounts that contained personal information, and that they're aware of the phishing campaign that led to the unauthorized access to a limited number of team members' mailboxes. Of course, it's always going to be hushed down. Not, oh my God, we didn't know about this for I don't know how long, and blah, blah, blah. So let's visit the source. It's over at The Hill. Zach Schoenfeld is the author of this. And it just says American Airlines is aware of a phishing campaign that led to the unauthorized access to a limited number of team member mailboxes. A very small number of customers and employees' personal information was contained in those email accounts, and they have no evidence that any personal information has been misused. Data security is of the utmost importance, and they offered customers and team members precautionary support. Wonderful. The company said that it hired a cybersecurity firm to investigate the incident and found the information may have included customers' names, dates of birth, Mailing addresses, phone numbers, emails, driver's licenses, passport numbers, medical information provided to the airline. Wonderful. Wonderful. So did all of those customers, it says here, American is providing affected customers with a complimentary 2-year membership to an identity theft protection service, although it said the actions were being taken out of an abundance of caution. No, it's to keep you all from being fined quite a bit by the federal government for a data breach. Okay, well, that is it for today. Again, this is for September 20th, 2022. And you've been watching the ohmTown Daily News Show. You can always go over to ohmTown.com. There's all kinds of articles there. If you're not interested in making comments there, which you can do, you can also go over to YouTube and watch it there and make a comment there. I got a Twitter account, but I haven't been posting anything there lately. Certainly here on Twitch, just throw a comment or a question or a statement or whatever you want into the chat. I will address it. And the podcast exists as well. You can just do a search. And if you're on Apple, you can do a search there, or Google Play, it's there, or pretty much anywhere. Just do a search for ohmTown. You'll find me. Thank you very much. Oh my gosh. And there's a lot of stuff coming down the pike. So stay tuned, folks. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.